Hi, Southern Miss students, and welcome to your virtual orientation. My name is Amy Chasteen, and I am the Vice Provost for Academic Affairs here at Southern Miss. I appreciate you joining me to talk for just a few minutes about what it's going to be like to transition academically to the University of Southern Mississippi this fall. You probably have lots of questions and maybe a little anxiety about what it's going to be like to start classes here at Southern Miss. So I just want to share with you a little bit of information that might be helpful to you as you plan for your classes and think through what it's going to be like to be enrolled in classes, probably some of which will be in person in a classroom like this, and some of which may be online this fall. I hope that I'll be able to answer some questions that you already have, and if not, while you're here during your virtual orientation day, you'll have an opportunity to talk with other people, including your Southern Style leaders in a small group session. You'll also talk with your advisors as you talk about your actual schedule for fall. So as I'm talking and going through some different points about what fall is going to be like, make some notes, think through some questions that you have, and feel free to reach out to any of those people or anyone else you interact with during that day, or to email any of us as a follow-up and ask us whatever questions you may have. We're all very excited to welcome you here as the class for this fall, and we're looking forward to meeting you face to face just as soon as we can. In the meanwhile, I do hope that the videos that you're watching, the slideshows you're viewing, and your interactions on the virtual orientation day can answer most questions that you have and give you a sense of what it's going to be like when you get here in the fall. I've been here at the University of Southern Mississippi for over 20 years, and it's a very special place. We have a lot of faculty, staff, and other students here who are very warm, very caring, and very excited to get to know you as a person and do whatever we can to help you set your goals, move towards your goals, and achieve the things that you want to do, not only as a student, but after you graduate. Now, it's very common as students begin to transition to a new environment, be it the first time you go to college or if you're transferring from another institution, it's very common for you to have some anxieties about what that's going to be like. You may have heard some things about college that were a little bit scary, or you may have heard things about professors not being responsive or not being as supportive as they could be. I'm here to tell you that most of the things you've heard are not true, and that we are all really excited to have you here, and we look forward to having you in your classes and supporting you any way that we can. Now, as you look towards this fall, it is going to look a little bit different. As you are well aware, we are in the midst of a global pandemic, and we're all having to make adjustments in every area of our life for this. I'm sure in the past year, wherever you were in school, it didn't look like any other year you'd ever had. You probably had to do a lot of remote learning. You probably had to keep distance from people. You probably just had a lot of adjustments that made everything very, very different. This fall, we are hard at work and have been for many, many months at the university to plan ahead and to do whatever we can to have as many classes face-to-face as possible safely, and to also really work hard on what our remote or online classes will look like to ensure that whether you are in class in person meeting or you are meeting online, you're able to connect with faculty, meet them virtually or face-to-face. You're able to get to know your peers, your other students in your classes, and you're able to learn and develop as much as you need to in the first year that you're here at the University of Southern Mississippi. So we've all been working as a community very hard for several months now, and we're all very ready and very excited for the fall semester to be here. The chances are that you are probably going to have a schedule that has a combination of in-person classes and online classes. So I want to talk a little bit about both of those and what they're likely to look like. One thing that all your classes will have in common is that they are going to be in a platform called Canvas. Some of you may have used Canvas at a high school or a previous institution. Canvas is where you will go to log in to see all of your classes and the content in those classes. So once you are registered, you can log in, you will see the classes in Canvas at the beginning of fall. Each class will have a syllabus, which will contain your assignments, the expectations for the course. It will tell you what you need to do, when you need to do it, what materials you need, like books if you have books required for the course, or other kinds of reading assignments. We'll have everything you need to know about the expectations for the course. It will also have your instructor's information, who the instructor is, how you can contact that person, what program they're in, and all of that sort of information. Canvas will also be where you see your assignments, and most of your assignments will also be submitted through Canvas. You'll likely upload papers, for instance. Many of you also have tests that you take through Canvas. It will basically be the home or the house for the classes that you're taking this fall, even if those classes are meeting in person. One important dimension of Canvas is that's where your professors will be holding office hours. Office hours are basically an open time in the week where you can just drop in and meet your professor. In a normal time, pre-COVID-19, we would all be sitting in our offices at a building like this, and we would literally have an open door and you could just walk in, meet the professor, talk about the class, and get to know him or her. Because of safety and our need to keep a little bit more distance, wearing face coverings and all of that, we decided that having office hours virtually is actually a little bit easier to communicate and to connect with one another than trying to do it in a small face-to-face place. So all office hours this fall will be held virtually through Zoom or Teams or some other platform. So when you log into Canvas and you click on a particular course you're registered for, you will see what that professor says is the best way to have office hours with him or her. And they will have a particular time. So for instance, it might say Monday and Wednesday from 1 to 3, Professor Smith is available. Click here and you can set up an appointment, or you can just walk in, so to speak, click on the box during that time, and you'll be able to interface with them the way you're looking at me right now and have a conversation with them. It is really, really important, regardless of whether you're in an in-person class or an online class, it is really important that you meet your faculty members. They are people who want to get to know you. They're people that you need to get to know because they are going to be there to help support you, to mentor you, to offer you advice. If you're getting a grade in the class that may not be the grade you want, they can help offer you advice. It could be something as simple as saying to them, here are the things that I did in this class to get the grade I got on the test, and I would like to get a better grade next time. What are some things I could do differently as I prepare for the next test or as I write the next paper? Having a conversation like that, a faculty member would be happy to tell you, here's some things you could do differently. Now here's some advice I would have for you. So remember when you meet with faculty to always introduce yourself, tell them who you are, because even if it's in a virtual environment, they can see your face, they might not know your full name. They'd like to know where you're from. They'd probably like to know which class you're in, just so you can remind them, because many professors teach a lot of different classes. So they may not know exactly which class you're in automatically. So you could say to them, I'm in your Political Science 101 class that meets on Tuesdays, or I am in your online Political Science 101 class. And so that way they'll know who you are, tell them your name, and just have an interaction with them, let them get to know you. And that way, over the course of your first semester, you'll have some people who have connected with you, know who you are, and are able to support you as you go through your classes. Faculty love it when students reach out to them and ask ways they can improve. It's important not to be isolated and not to be disconnected. I know we're all trying to be physically distancing right now to keep ourselves as safe as possible and to be as safe as possible for the ones we love and that we're around, but that doesn't mean we have to be isolated or completely socially distant. We're just being physically distant. So when we're doing it virtually and you're logging in online and connecting with someone by video, that's a very safe way to do it, and I encourage you to really take advantage of that platform, whether it's Zoom or another one that your professor is using. Log in, connect with them, ask them questions about the class, talk to your friends, talk to the other people you meet in your classes, ask them what they're doing in the classes, ask them how they're talking with the professors. It's really important to make that connection. When you first get here, one of the first things you need to do is you need to take your phone and download the Canvas app. That's a very handy thing for students to do. Most students have the app on their phone, and when you do that, you can set the notifications so that you will get alerts. And this is important. I definitely encourage you to log into Canvas every day and check it, but setting the alerts also will mean that you will get a notification if your faculty member emails or messages you and tells you, for instance, that class is canceled for some reason, or that you have an extension on a paper that's due, or whatever else you need to know about an announcement for the class. So make sure you download the Canvas app, and it's just C-A-N-V-A-S, Canvas. Download the app, set the notifications so that you can receive them and know what's happening in all of your classes. And once the semester gets going, when you open up that app, you'll be able to quickly see all your grades. You'll know where you stand in the classes. You'll know that things got submitted when they were submitted. You'll be able to see that they were in and that the professor has received them. So it's really important that you have that on your phone, that you have that on whatever device you use. And speaking of technology, make sure that you have some sort of technology available to you to complete your classes, because you will need to do this through the Canvas platform for virtually all your classes. Even if you're taking in-person classes, you will be using Canvas for those as well. If you are staying on campus, or even if you're not staying on campus, when you come to campus, we do have computers available to you through different labs on campus. The library, for instance, Cook Library at the center of campus, has computers available to you free of charge that you can log in. You can do your classwork on the computers. You can use it to do research that you may need to do for a class project. Those are available to you. There's some labs in other parts of campus that you'll learn about once you get here too, but the Cook Library labs are open very late, they're open early in the morning, and they're available to you as a student. So be sure to keep that in mind, and if you do have your own, that's great as well. It's something that'll definitely be essential this fall going into the semester. If you aren't going to be living on campus, make sure you do have access to the internet for whatever you're going to be doing with your classes. You will need that regularly. Okay, so if you are taking face-to-face classes, you will likely have some at least. You will be in a classroom, perhaps like this one that I'm in. You can see this is a tiered classroom. This is a classroom in our liberal arts building. So if you get a class that says LAB on it for the building, this is the building. And we have quite a few of these rooms in here. I myself have taught in this room many, many, many times. This is a room where we teach classes in sociology, like I taught, anthropology, history, political science, many different subjects. This room has 66 seats, and normally we would have 66 people in here. But this fall, we're going to reduce class sizes in all the rooms in order to allow people to spread out. So if you are in a class that meets in this room, it's probably gonna only have about 20 people in it, maybe a few more. So that way students will not sit right next to each other in these chairs, but they'll be spaced out. The rows are pretty far apart. They're about 5 feet apart, but you'll also be spaced out next to one another so that there'll be plenty of space between students and they can be more comfortable and relax and enjoy the class. When you enter a classroom this fall at the University of Southern Mississippi, and at most other universities in the country, you'll also need to wear a face covering. In the city of Hattiesburg, that's currently, as of today at least, that's something that is an ordinance that everyone is to wear a face covering when they're out in public. And if you're in the classes, that's something that's expected. You can wear whatever face covering you choose. I brought a couple of examples. These are just my personal ones that I have brought out of my car. But you can wear these in class and then just wear them out into the hallways and around campus. I prefer the washable ones because then you can just wash them and reuse them as opposed to the disposable ones, but it's up to you. If you are living in the residence halls, you'll likely receive one when you get on campus, but we also will have plenty available around on campus. For these, when you put them on, it's important that you remember they need to cover from your nose to your chin, and that'll be part of what's expected when you come into class. So it'll look like this. I know it's going to seem really strange at first, but the more you do it, the more you get used to it. And I think this is just going to be, as they say, our new normal for college at the University of Southern Mississippi and at pretty much every other university that I've looked at in the United States for the foreseeable future. Hopefully for not too much longer. I think we're all ready, but for right now, that's the way it is. Now, whether you're in classes face-to-face or online, there are a couple of tips I definitely want to give you to think about. I've already told you about Canvas, that's really important. So number one is download Canvas, the app, set your notifications, check it every day, and that will help you stay on top of your classes. Tip number two is check your email every day. Check your usm.edu email every day. You will all have that as a student at the University of Southern Mississippi. That is the official communication from the university to you. And it is your official communication from you to other people at the university. It's very important that you check that, and it's very important that you use that when you communicate with people across the campus. And when you check it, you're going to find notifications, you're going to find announcements about opportunities. I, for one, have sent out scholarship announcements to students, and I always send it to the university email address because that's the way I find students and that's the way I communicate with them. You don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but check it every day. So make it part of your morning routine when you wake up. I know many of you, like myself, you wake up, first thing you do, you grab that phone, you check your notifications, you look at things, make it part of that routine. You check your Canvas, see if there's any notifications you need to take care of, check your USM email, see if anything came in you need to deal with. At least do that once a day. Okay, so tip number one, Canvas. Tip number two, check your USM email every day. Tip number three, You must work on some effective time management. Now, maybe I'm the only procrastinator listening to myself talk today, but I'm guessing that there are some other procrastinators listening. You need to make sure that you either have an actual planner. Some people like the old school paper planners where you do things in different colors and you organize your time that way. Some people, myself included, like a more digital planner where you use a phone app and you keep track of your time that way. You do whatever works for you, but you need a calendar and you need to put everything on there that you need to do. That includes class meetings if you have them, all your due dates for class assignments. Go ahead and put them on your calendar when you get your syllabi at the start of the semester. Look through the months of your semester ahead. That way you will know certain weeks you're gonna have a lot of things to do at the same time around the middle of the semester. And if you know that's coming, it won't hit you all at once and you can budget your time and plan ahead. So you go ahead and put all your dates on there, put all of the due dates for everything, make sure you can plan your time ahead. And you must budget time each week for studying and doing your schoolwork. One of the challenges of college that makes it really different from high school is that when you're in high school, if we were in person, I would ask y'all this question, you would probably raise your hand. When you were in high school, your senior year of high school, most students don't do a whole lot of work outside of the classroom when they go home. Now they're busy, maybe you're working, maybe you're involved in extracurricular activities, but you're not doing a whole lot of schoolwork on your own time, but you're spending a whole lot of time sitting in school. When you come to college, it's kind of different. You're going to not spend a lot of time sitting in class. Even if you have an in-person class, you're probably going to be sitting physically in that class 3 hours a week. That's it. But the expectation is that you're spending 6 to 9 hours outside of class on that 1 3-hour class. Let me say that math again. For that 3-hour class that you're taking, let's say it's Math 101. You're taking that, you're in class 3 hours a week. Outside of class, we expect 6 to 9 hours. It's roughly 2 to 3 hours outside of class for every hour in class. So if you're online, you can expect roughly 10 hours a week for each online class. So I'm telling you this so that you can think through your calendar, think through budgeting your time, and don't just assume that if you don't have something due right now, that you have nothing to do. Because the reality is you have to budget your week and plan ahead and study ahead and organize your time in a way that you've probably not done before. And that will enable you to be successful and be prepared as things sneak up on you and deadlines arise. Because you don't want to wait till the last minute in college. It's just not the same as high school. You really can't get away with that in the same way that some of you probably did in high school. And I'm just telling you that from 22 years of experience as a college teacher. I think you really have to budget your time and manage it very, very effectively. And some of you may be panicking hearing this because you may think, I've never done that. I don't budget my time in that way. But we are here to help you. We will be having workshops for students on time management, on how to organize yourself, on your stress management, all of the things that typically affect first-year students. We have been here for a very long time, and we have been working to welcome and support incoming first-year students for many, many years. And we certainly know what to expect, and we know how to support you, and we're excited to do that. So have no doubt there are opportunities available for you to access not only your advisors, who are wonderful sources of support, but academic coaches and offices on campus that are going to help you through this transition. Don't be a stranger, and don't be isolated. That's the most important thing. Talk to your professors in their office hours, as I said at the beginning of this. Talk to your peers that you're going to meet in the residence halls and in your classes. Talk to the staff of the offices that you're going to meet as you go through your orientation and your advisement and start acclimating to campus. The whole community of the University of Southern Mississippi is excited to meet you, and we want to support you. So let us get to know you. Introduce yourself to us, tell us what you want, tell us what you need, and let us know how to help you so that we can be here for you. It's going to be here before you know it, and it will be August very soon, and you will be likely, many of you, moving in the residence halls or moving to Hattiesburg and getting ready to start your classes. And it will be a very exciting time. And our goal, as you may have heard from other people, is to help you become healthy, connected, learning-focused students. We want you to learn, certainly. I'm a professor. I want you to love and learn in all of your classes. But we also want you to be very healthy, particularly this year. Take good care of yourselves and to be connected to one another and to the university as a whole. So I hope that you have a wonderful orientation and that you enjoy transitioning here in August, and I look forward to meeting all of you in person very soon. And Southern Miss, to the top.